This is Good Morning Mumbai, and you're with Hrishikesh.
Radio One.
Leading up to Republic Day, I just thought we'd do a series on the Indian Constitution. Vinita Singh is here. She's from We the People. It's a citizens network. They're raising awareness about our rights and responsibilities as citizens within the framework of the Indian Constitution. Hi Vinita, welcome to the show.
Hi Hrishikesh, good to be here.
Okay, now listen, everybody just keeps harping about 26th of January, but 26th of November is also a big day in the annals of our Constitution's history, so to say. Why so?
So 26th November is the date mentioned in the Preamble to the Constitution. That was actually the day that the Constitution was enacted. So it's really actually a very, very critical day for us. And especially for people in Maharashtra, Mumbaikars, it's even more special because in 2008 there's been a Maharashtra government order which actually directs all government employees to read the Preamble first thing in the morning on 26th November. It is celebrated, therefore, as Constitution Day in Maharashtra, unlike any other state in the country. So, for us, it's even more important.
Yeah, and the logical question which you and me would ask is why are only government employees doing this?
There is that big question, actually, really as owners of the document. So if you look at the Preamble to the Constitution, it clearly establishes you and me as the owners. Okay? So for the government employees, of course, their very existence is mandated by the Constitution. They carry out the direction of the Constitution as their jobs. But more importantly, the Preamble is something that you and I own. The Constitution is something you and I own. And as owners, it's critical for us to know what the vision and direction to the citizens of India is. What is it that we are expected to do is mandated, therefore, in the Preamble to the Constitution. And as a vision statement, let's say, for instance, all of us work in various different companies. You work with Radio One. There is a vision statement that defines your work here. What are the values? Where are you headed? The Preamble to the Constitution determines and tells you where, as citizens of India, we are headed.
I like the fact that you've likened it to a company's vision statement. Lovely. Vinita, where can we find you and We the People?
So you can get on our Facebook page. This is We the People. So facebook.com/We the People. Our website is www.we-thepeople.in and email us at rama.shyam@we-the-people.in.
And you have all these citizen cafes where you interact with people. It's absolutely free of cost where you can just walk in, right?
Absolutely. It's for all citizens, all ages. And what we're trying to do is between 26th November and 26th Jan, really raise the awareness about this vision document. It's really critical for us to know it, own it, and work on it.
See you next time.
All right. See you again. Bye.
This is Good Morning Mumbai, and you're with Hrishikesh.
Radio One.
It's our series on the Constitution of India leading up to Republic Day. Vinita Singh from We the People is here. It's a citizens network. They are raising awareness about our rights and responsibilities as citizens within the framework of the Indian Constitution. Hey Vinita, welcome again.
Hi Hrishikesh, good to be back here.
What is the Constitution asking us to do?
So the Constitution basically puts together the core values, the core values of equality, freedom, justice. That's what's enshrined there. What it's asking us to do is to practice it. Practice it in our homes, our offices, our communities, and with respect to the government. So on one side, while the whole role of the state is to establish laws based on these values, the deal is that we have to follow those laws and we have to make sure, therefore, that becomes our daily practice. Now, for example, the whole values of equality, freedom and justice have related back to having our Maharashtra Domestic Workers Welfare Act. Okay, this was in 2008. Now, what it says is that there is a defined wage for domestic workers. This is at par at the minimum wage for unskilled workers in Maharashtra, which is 6,500 rupees per month to 10,000 rupees a month. Now, when that is mandated and that's put down as part of the law, flowing from the same core values, what is it asking us to do? It's asking us to actually make sure that whether your domestic worker demands it or not, you're supposed to pay that. That is the ask. Personal practice every day. Making sure you follow the rules and the laws every day because they come from the core values that we all want to work towards. The second thing is it's asking us not only to look at just ourselves and our homes, which is critical, but it's also saying look out for others. What it means is that You are to secure. It's a line, a phrase in the preamble. You are to secure for all the citizens justice, equality, freedom. What that means is that's a big job for you. I am mandated to secure Hrishikesh's freedom, justice and equality. When I see that violated, I have to stand up and say, listen guys, that's not on. You can do it on Facebook, you can do it wherever, but that's what you have to do. Stand up and say, what is being violated in front of me, that's not on. You have people, there might be physical violence between a husband and a wife. We say, that's their personal problem. This is not a personal problem. You're very much within the role of yourselves as a citizen to go and intervene and say, listen, this is not on. And that is the ask that is there. For you to practice it at your homes, but also to make sure that when you see it around you violated, stand up and voice your thoughts.
If you see your neighbor indulging in domestic violence, if you see in your neighborhood a husband beating his wife, would you go and stop it, or would you turn around and say that's their business? I want you to react to that. Also, are we underpaying our domestic helps, workers? Those are things for you to react on. Start talking right away. I'll put you on air. 66943 66943 One space your comment and named 53650. Search for HRISHIKAY on Twitter or Facebook and tweet and post out. Vinita from We the People, where can we get in touch with you?
Right, so we're doing a series of citizen cafes all over Mumbai where all these questions are being debated, discussed and actioned. Get us on Facebook, We the People, and also our website is www.we-the-people.in, and our email is info@we-the-people.in.
Thanks,
See you
Vinita.
soon.
See you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
This is Good Morning Mumbai, and you're with Rishi K.
Radio One.
Leading up to Republic Day, the 26th of January, we're doing a series on the Indian Constitution. Vinita Singh from We the People is right here in studio. It's a citizens network, We the People. They're raising awareness about our rights and responsibilities as citizens within the framework of the Indian Constitution. Welcome again, Vinita. How are you?
Yes, very well, thanks.
Okay, now we know that the language is there. In theory, it is supposed to protect us, the Indian Constitution. But the question is our freedom protected in this day and age? And what are the things we can do to protect our freedom within the framework of the Constitution?
The first thing actually is to be far more active as citizens. That's the main ask. Yeah, when we look at ourselves, even where voting is concerned, for instance, it's looked at as a 5-year festival. Okay, so we voted and then 5 saal baad we'll vote again. Actually, your work as a citizen is all the years in between. Yeah, it's about being active in these years, asking questions of your elected representatives, asking for yearly reports, interacting with them, complaining where civic issues are concerned. And the main point is not stopping. Yes, sometimes the complaints will go through and you'll see a difference. Sometimes they won't. But that's life. We just have to work on. In a democracy, it assumes that you will be active, you will be informed, and you will engage. When you stop doing that is where democracy flops down. So the only way to protect my freedom, our freedom, is to be at it. As citizens in a democracy, it's hard work. Be prepared for it. That's the deal.
Mm-hmm. And obviously the decision to vote in the right people comes in there,
Absolutely, yes. And that's a critical function. I absolutely, connect with you on that. All I'm saying is it doesn't end there. It doesn't end with
correct.
paying taxes, voting. Actually, it is the time. Absolutely. Be persistent. It's expected that you will work on this every day. It's a 24/7 job. Yeah.
If you guys have been persisting on any civic issue, if you've been complaining and asking questions, asking for yearly reports, we want to know about that. Great. You're standing up for the Indian Constitution and working within the framework of it. Vinita from We the People, where can we reach out to you?
Right. So we're doing a series of citizen cafes in Mumbai and in fact in 25 cities and towns in the country. You can reach us at any time on Facebook at www.facebook.com/We the People. Our website is www.we-the-people.in and email info@we-the-people.in.
Thanks, Vinita, for your time. See you next time.
Thank you.
This is Good Morning Mumbai, and you're with Rishi K.
Radio One.
Leading up to Republic Day, a series on the Constitution of India. Vinita Singh from We the People is here. They are a citizens network raising awareness about rights and responsibilities of us as citizens within the framework of the Constitution of India. Good morning, how are you?
Hi, Hrishikesh.
Let's talk about our relationship with the state today. What can you liken it to?
Okay, so we've talked in the past about the preamble saying that we are the owners, okay, of the nation. Preamble is our ownership document. In that sense, when we look at things that we own, let's say the property or homes or whatever, what we do is we do some things ourselves and we get others to do things that we can't do or they have more expertise in. In a simple way, it's running the affairs of the state is pretty much like that. We are the ownership, we have the ownership, but we have people who are specially trained or do full-time jobs of actually running the affairs of the state. This, in a very simple way, is the relationship that we have with the state. Another way of looking at it is that to run the affairs of the state, we need money to be given, so we pay taxes. We vote our representatives there to make decisions, so they are there because we vote them into that. And in that sense, in many ways, we are the employers of the state and they are our employees. And pretty much about, if you look at this relationship, it means that the ownership and the responsibility of getting our employees to work rests with us. And we are needing to constantly feed back to them, good, bad, ugly, whatever. So if they've done a great job, we tell them that you're doing a great job. If not, others. But monitoring the performance of people who are running the state is an essential responsibility that we hold. And if you look around you, if you think there's slack in that or employees are not doing a great job, it's probably because the employers have been sleeping on their job.
You and me, yeah.
You and me, yes.
So therein there is less accountability. Right now, you guys, you need to react on this. Are we really the employers, and is the state or the members of the state who are responsible to carry out these functions the employees? Is that relationship being maintained or not? Vinita from We the People, where can we get in touch with you, please?
We're doing a series of citizen cafes all over Mumbai and other parts of the country, and we'd love to have you waking up to your job as a citizen. So do come join us, and you can reach us at our website www.we-the-people.in, email info@we-the-people.in, and our Facebook is We the People.
And these cafes are absolutely free of cost.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Vinita. See you next time.
This is Good Morning Mumbai, and you're with Rishi K.
Radio One.
It's a series that's close to my heart. We're talking about the Indian Constitution leading up to Republic Day. Vinita Singh from We the People is here. It's a citizens network, We the People. They're raising awareness about our rights and responsibilities as citizens. And all this is within the framework of the Constitution of India. Good morning, Vinita. How are you?
Very well. Thank you.
Today, let's talk about the role of the state. What does the state actually do?
We're going to put this really simply. Okay, the role of the state, and again, this is what is in the Constitution, is to basically take the values and the fundamental rights that are enshrined in the Constitution and make them happen, make them work. So the three arms of the state, which is the legislature, executive, and judiciary, what do? The legislature basically creates laws or acts that protect your fundamental rights. That's their role. The executive takes those laws and acts and starts to implement them. So they'll make rules, orders, small little additions to it, which will make it possible for it to be actually implemented. And the judiciary is basically the upholder of the Constitution and acts as a checks and balances part of the whole trio. So if you look at this, the whole role of the state is to make sure that the direction in which we are headed and the values on which we are created actually get experienced by us through the mechanism of law. Let's take example here. Simply, if you look at, for instance, an act, the Child Labour Prohibition Act 1986, this flows directly from Article 24, which is part of our fundamental rights. Now, that means then that we have created a mechanism by which if a child is employed, there will be a certain repercussion through the act where a punishment will come into being if it is violated. Similarly, if you look at, the fact that I'm sitting here in front of you, or many women are now in occupying jobs of various responsibilities, it's because we have experienced the action of the Equal Remuneration Act 1976, which flows again from my fundamental right, 14 and 15 articles, which guarantee equality before law and no discrimination based on gender. So what we're saying is that the role of the state is to make the values and rights real to me in my life.
You're saying off the mic that even a small act like brushing your teeth has many laws governing it. Is
Absolutely.
that right? Yeah?
And you didn't have the right answer.
I didn't have the right answer. So I'm going to ask everybody. Listen, do you know the laws that govern brushing our teeth? A simple act like that. 66943 66943 react. Or one space the laws governing our brushing our teeth. Vinita from We the People, where can we find you guys?
So we're doing a number of awareness and training programs on how we can understand more about how the state works. Come join us, reach out to us on our website www.we-the-people.in. Our email is info@we-the-people.in, and on Facebook it's very simple, it's We the People.
Thank you so much. See you next time.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Okay, Vinita Singh from We the People. Her voice wafted through the airwaves a couple of minutes ago, and she ended that whole series, this particular edition of the series on the Constitution of India, which is going to happen on the show all the way up to the 26th, which is Republic Day. She ended it by saying, you guys react to what are the laws governing a simple activity like brushing your teeth. And here I have it in front of me. For example, the act of brushing your teeth, the various laws that are related to it could be a consumer law. The toothpaste and the toothbrush have to be sold at MRP. The shopkeeper must give a receipt for goods sold, and he must not sell damaged or harmful goods. Then there's criminal law. If a person picks up the toothpaste or the toothbrush from the shop without paying, then it amounts to theft, which is again an offense. And then labor laws, where does that kick in? The manufacturer must pay the minimum wage and give workers 1 day's rest per week. And the water must be clean and portable, and this relates to sanitation laws. So as you figured out, it's almost like a civic action kit that we're doing, a simple guide for you and me to prepare for filing complaints, RTI applications, knowing the wherewithal of engaging with the executive, the legislature and the judiciary. So stay tuned for this entire series on the Constitution. Right now also, if you have anything to say about this thing, elementary things like laws governing.
This is Good Morning Mumbai, and you're with Rishi K.
Radio One.
As we're inching our way towards Republic Day on the 26th of January, I'm doing a series on the Indian Constitution and understanding this wonderful, wonderful Constitution. Vinita Singh from We the People is helping me. We the People is a citizens network. They're raising awareness about our rights and responsibilities as citizens within the framework of the Constitution of India. Good morning, Vinita. How are you? Welcome back.
Good morning, Rishi.
Listen, today I need to know about engaging with the state. You were briefly touching upon the fact that we can influence and engage with the state as common people. A bit about that, please.
So engaging with the state means engaging with all these organs of the state. That can be judiciary, legislature, whatever. So let's take an example of the judiciary. All right. Now we are saying that as a person who walks on the street, etc., you experience something, you think it's not right. What do I do? One of the greatest ways in which you can actually engage is approach courts, because these are places that the constitutional rights are upheld. So let's take example of, and there are many examples, but let's take one. So there's this gentleman called Parmanand Katara. He reads in the newspaper that there was this person who, while taking an accident victim to the hospital, went from one hospital to the other, and he's reading all this in the newspaper, and finally the victim died because the doctors kept saying, go file an FIR and then we'll take care of this person. He just felt this was totally wrong. And many of us read this, but that day Parmanand Katara thought, I'm not going to stand for this. This person then went and filed a PIL. This went to Supreme Court. And the argument and the judgment which was made was basically that this was violating Article 21, which is your and mine right to life and personal liberty.
Super.
And what that meant was that now when you go into a hospital, every doctor first has to administer first aid or look after you. And the process of the police or the law in terms of filing FIR, etc., will kick in later. This is a critical judgment which came because Parmanand Katara thought enough was enough. And he went there and got this judgment for all of us. This is the way in which we engage. Do we know Parmanand Katara? No. Yeah, there are many, many such people who we don't know of, but they have influenced the way in which we experience life today.
Enrique Iglesias along with Pitfall. It's called I'm a Freak. At 9:23 in the morning, Vinita Singh from We the People is here. It's a series on the Indian Constitution and how it affects our lives on a day-to-day basis. I mean, we went to school and we learnt it by rote. But how much are we actually practicing? These are really simple steps here. Good morning, Ayyar Baba. Can you post the Supreme Court judgment copy for all of us to have it handy? It will be really helpful, he says. Yeah, we'll try and do that, okay? Better than that, I'll try and put together a civic action kit along, with the We the People, and we will try and put that up too once it's officially launched and things like that. King. More conversation. We're actually delving into real-life examples. Just a while ago, she talked about this gentleman who made a qualitative change and actually moved the judiciary. And things that you and me can also do. Really simple.
This is Good Morning Mumbai, and you're with Rishi K.
Radio One.
Is there more? Just proceed.
So we take another person, Mumbaikar, Murli Deora. He was thinking, I think this is what happened in his head. He said, people around me are smoking, all right, and that's fine. But I am inhaling the smoke. Yeah, so I'm passive smoking. I don't like this. I don't think it's right. Again, PIL in Supreme Court, which again the judgment was that your right to life was being affected. Again, Article 21. And so the instruction from the courts was that smokers need to have separate places in public spaces. There will be separate rooms which will be made available where they can go out and smoke. So, in airports and places like that, you now have a separate smoking room. I don't know if you've noticed it, but that's really because of that judgment. Again, this is a person who thought, this is what matters to me. I'm going to make sure that directions come from the court that will make my life better. It takes time, PILs take time, but it's possible. People have used this route and many of us experience life differently because of these people.
If you know of anybody who's engaged and influenced the judiciary or the state or the other tiers that Vinita has talked about. Vinita, thank you. Where can we reach out to We the People?
You can reach out to us on our website www.we-the-people.in, email info@we-the-people.in, and our Facebook is We the People. We really would like to hear from you if you want to have citizen cafes in Mumbai, other places, and let's get this going together.
See you next time.
Bye-bye.
Okay, now, if you speak about somebody who's filed a PIL or if you yourself have filed a PIL and you're trying to make a change.
This is Good Morning Mumbai, and you're with Rishi K.
Radio One.
It's our series on the Indian Constitution and how it impacts you and me in our daily life, leading up to Republic Day, which is the 26th. Vinita Singh from We the People had been coming in, and now it's Rama Sham from We the People. Good morning, Rama. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Okay, now, we talked about the state, the executive, and the judiciary, and the roles as regards us. Now I want to know about the processes, the different tools that's going to help us deal with people's systems and structures that make up the state.
Great. So the first step really to engage with the executive, which is basically government officers who implement laws and rules in this country, is to be able to identify the issue that concerns you. So the issue you see can be anything. You may choose to work on issues of garbage disposal or accessing government services like widow pension, or review conditions in schools related to infrastructure, quality of education, etc. It could be anything that disturbs you as an individual citizen of the country.
So if I'm worried about forest cover going down, land acquisition which is irregular,
yes,
a small thing like groundwater levels, I could also count that as an issue which I can actually go and research on. Okay, fine. Issue identified. Now,
yes,
the next step before we actually go about, making complaints or filing RTIs and this and that, what's the next step?
So once you identify your issue, please remember that you will have to, at your level, gather information around that issue. What is the law related to that issue and how is it supposed to work?
Isn't that difficult going through government orders or judgments on issues and
Not
things
really.
No.
In fact, nowadays we are in a quite advantageous position because with the Right to Information Act coming into place, all of these orders and laws had to be digitized.
Okay.
And we can find them on government websites.
What are you saying? Wow.
Yes, and we have Google at our disposal. I have been finding out laws and acts through Google every day.
Super stuff. So, okay, identify the laws, identify the issue. Let's go ahead. What's
Yes.
next?
And the department that is supposed to implement these laws.
Okay.
So, for example, if we say forest cover, as a citizen, I will need to know what are the laws related to it and which is the executive department that is supposed to enact these laws or bring them into force. That is really the first step in engaging with the executive.
And also, you know, people in power in that particular department. I mean, you can't just go to, somebody who's a domestic help in that particular office, isn't it? Yeah?
True. So when I say that you need to figure out which department is responsible for it, each departmental website also gives you very clearly the hierarchies of office in that website.
So you're saying designations, positions of office bearers who are directly responsible
Right.
For this
Absolutely.
is available there. Great
Absolutely.
stuff. Great stuff.
Absolutely.
Okay, it's almost like a citizen's kit. What Rama is going to lead us through with We the People. Where can we get in touch with you? What are your coordinates?
You can reach us for more details on our website, which is www.we-the-people.in, and our Facebook page is facebook.com/we the people.
See you next time.
Thank you.
This is Good Morning Mumbai, and you're with Hrishikesh.
Radio One.
It's a series on the Indian Constitution leading up to Republic Day, which is the 26th of January. A process that's meant to take you through different tools that will enable you to deal with people, systems and structures that make up the state and engage with the civic issue at various levels in governance. Rama Sham from We the People, the last time around, talked about identifying an issue, identifying the law, and identifying the different departments and authorities related to the issue. Could be anything, like, a forest cover or why roads are not being properly maintained, and so on and so forth. And Rama is here. Good morning, how are you?
Good morning. Thank you, Rishi. I'm doing well.
Okay, the next step, after all the 3 steps that I just enunciated.
Great. So next step really is for a citizen to gather as much information as possible. And please remember that all documents related to any law or to do with the state machinery is always in the written form and is available to any citizen of India. What is really important for us as citizens to know is that when we try and engage with the executive department, which is responsible for implementing laws, rules and acts, we need to engage with them through a written format. Everything that we do also needs to be written down in the form of a complaint or in any whichever way you wish to address that department. For example, taking your example of the forest cover going down, we as citizens first need to gather all information relating to laws pertaining to the forest covers. We need to decide which location we wish to work on. Also figure out which department is responsible for it, the official responsible for it, write a complaint addressed to that official. And what is crucial to be included in that complaint is, please mention the article number, the fundamental right which is being violated as a consequence of the forest cover going down. And that is essentially what makes your complaint very, very effective. And you can find the format of the complaint in the Civic Action Toolkit, which is a simple guideline for citizens to interface with the executive, the legislative and the judiciary.
Is it already available or you're launching it somewhere or someplace? Yeah?
We are in the process of designing it. We are launching it in the public domain on 25th of January at Kitab Mahal in Fort in Mumbai.
Super
Join
stuff.
us for the launch.
Your coordinates, please. Any Facebook page or email ID that we can reach We the People. It is a citizens initiative, and I'm really proud to say that the citizens cafes you're doing are absolutely free of cost. Yeah.
Yes, we do free of cost citizen cafes to talk about the Constitution of India and the preamble, the values in the preamble to the Constitution of India. You can reach us on our website www.we-the-people.in. Reach us at info@we-the-people.in. Our Facebook page is facebook.com/we the people.
This is Good Morning Mumbai, and you're with Hrishikesh.
Radio One.
Rama Sham is from We the People, and if you guys have been listening in regularly twice a week, she or Vinita Singh from the organization have been coming and talking to us about the Constitution of India and the preamble and what it means in our daily life. Hi, how are you?
I'm very good, Rishi. Thank you so much.
Wonderful to have you as an interview guest. First and foremost, what does We the People do? What is the focus of your activity, and what are you hoping to achieve?
So, We the People is essentially a citizens collective. We work on bringing the Constitution of India back to the lives of ordinary people in India. Essentially to say that we as citizens of India need to look upon the Constitution of India as a responsibility document. Rather than just a document, that prescribes our rights. So we work around the preamble to the Constitution of India. We discuss what each value enshrined in the preamble to the Constitution means to us as individuals. And we do it with citizens all over the place. We do discussions in skyscrapers, we do discussions in offices, in slum communities, across the board with different communities.
And all free of cost, yeah?
Everything free of cost.
Super stuff. You know, the last time you were here, just to do a small section, we were talking about a citizen's kit and some civic action. And you said, you know, even if you feel strongly about ration, voter ID cards, you know, pension,
Right.
identify the issue, identify the law, identify the departments and the people in the hierarchy who deal with those issues, and gather as much information as you can. Now I want to talk about action. Now, when you know that implementation of laws and rules has not happened, what are the steps to take action against the judiciary, the state, and the executive?
Right. So, I'm going to start off with a very useful tip here. The tip is really that very often when we as citizens go to complain to officials responsible for implementing rules, acts, laws, etc., they say, do not file a complaint. We assure you that the work will be done. You know, please do not listen to that. Always file a complaint. It is not possible to hold any official accountable on verbal assurance, which is why the first step really is to rely a lot on paperwork. And remember this, you should know as a citizen of India that when you are filing a complaint, you have a pile of papers with the official you are filing the complaint with. So as the number of papers increase there, the number of papers also increase in your file, which means that you have been an active citizen engaging with the officials in a department, and they can in no way refuse or deny anything for which there is proof. Now, coming to the second point, is how to write a complaint. We have a format as part of the annexure in our civic action toolkit, which can be shared with you. Remember that the complaint can be sent to any department, any government department by registered or speed post, by email, or can be hand delivered personally. If you happen to hand deliver the complaint, please ensure that you take a copy of the complaint, get it received by the official and stamped like an acknowledgement. If you post the complaint letter, please keep the registered or speed post receipt. Always remember that you should have proof of anything that you do with any executive department. Some departments and authorities today also have toll-free complaint numbers. Use them. For example, the Brihan Mumbai Municipal Corporation has 1916. And if you ask me, I have used 1916 to call in fumigation people.
And it works?
It works.
Super.
धुआं वाले आते हैं. They drive the mosquitoes out.
More conversation with Rama Sham from We the People. She's going to be with us through the course of this hour. Don't go anywhere. 94.3 Radio 1.
This is Good Morning Mumbai, and you're with Rishi K.
Radio One.
Guest for the day is Rama Sham from We the People. It's the Citizens Collective to make us more aware about the Constitution of India and the Preamble, and really processes that go into engaging with a civic issue at the various levels in governance. Now, just before the song played, you talked to me about how if you're complaining to a state department, make sure that it's registered or speed post or hand delivered. Get a copy stamped and signed. Also keep the registered or speed post receipt,
Right.
and use toll-free complaint numbers, and they do work. Let's go a step ahead on that.
Yes.
Once you file the complaint, what does one do?
Yes. To be very realistic, Rishi. So once you have filed a complaint, it may not happen so that it cuts ice at the first time. Do not get disheartened. Write another complaint and send a copy to all the senior officers in the hierarchy of the department. Please avoid words like, what is the status of my complaint? Asked for signed and stamped copies of all the correspondence till date in the matter of your complaint, including memos, emails, covering letters for forwarding your complaint, etc.
And most citizens' charters actually state a time period for redressal of complaints, isn't it? Yeah?
Yes, they do. Follow that. In fact, when you make the first complaint, please write what is the time period within which your grievance needs to be redressed.
Okay, now we've written the grievance, we've followed it up very, very diligently, and still if there's something that hasn't happened, then what's the apex body, or the body larger than that one can go to?
So, in terms of the executive, it's really the departments that work on issues of roads, garbage, etc. But please note that if you are not able to get the executive to work on this, you need to figure out which is the highest department pertaining to that executive. For example, if you look at the Brihan Mumbai Municipal Corporation, we have our ward offices. We have K East Ward, K West Ward, etc., etc. The headquarters for this is really MCGM, which is Municipal Corporation of Greater Mumbai. This is an example, basically, which is just across VT community station. Go there, meet the municipal commissioner. You as a citizen are entitled to meet the municipal commissioner and figure out which are the ways to make the municipal officers accountable to do the work.
Don't be shy about it. That's what she says. More conversation with Rama Sham. Some messages and back.
This is Good Morning Mumbai, and you're with Rishi K.
Radio One.
It's my Republic Day special. We're just 2 days away from the big day, from 26th. And I thought, hey, since I'm not on air on that particular day, I got to do something today. Rama Sham is from We the People, a citizens organization that helps us stay in touch with the Constitution and the Preamble of India. And a fascinating discussion here with her. Listen, we just talked about elementary things like not getting your complaint redressed. You said you can, hug say, with a great degree of conviction, walk into the municipal commissioner's office. Even if that were not to work, what can one do as a citizen within the framework of the Constitution?
So far, Rishi, you see, we've been concentrating on how to interface with the executive.
Yeah.
Now comes in the legislative, our elected representatives. People we vote in, and they come to us saying that, please vote for me. And we choose the candidate. And that is really which is the first step in democracy. We elect someone into an office which is responsible to make the executive accountable, to actually make the executive work. So what happens is, if your complaint doesn't get redressed, go to the vigilance or monitoring committees. There are certain public authorities or offices that have vigilance and monitoring committees. In Bombay, we have one for health that I know of. And members of citizens or local elected representatives are on these committees. A copy of your complaint to the executive department should be given to them so that they can monitor the situation, because it is ultimately their job, the job of the corporator, the MLA or the MP, to take up my problems as the citizens, because it is I who they represent as elected representatives. And if they take up an issue, it carries much more weight, and the officials tend to act on the complaint faster.
Now, I've got a question for you. When approaching elected representatives,
right,
how do we find out if the issue falls under their area of work? For example, let's take a ration card, something as simple as that.
Right.
Just talk about that, please.
So, if you say a ration card, well, to tell you very, very honestly, the rationing department in Mumbai works very, very effectively. So, in that case, I don't know whether you will need to go to a vigilance committee at all. Nevertheless, there is a vigilance committee related to rationing and the public distribution system in Mumbai. What happens is, when you go to the website of the rationing department or the PDS system in India, you will find that on the website, it talks about the vigilance or monitoring committee and the names of the members who are citizens or elected representatives who are part of that vigilance committee. And they're actually also supposed to display the contact details, contact numbers. So that is how you get to know who is on the vigilance.
So you're basically saying the ration department is a state subject and not a municipal subject. Yeah?
It is a state subject.
Yeah. So for issues related to ration, the MLA should be approached and not the municipal corporator.
Not the corporator.
Okay, got that. Rama, where can people reach out to you? I believe there's something very exciting happening tomorrow, and also your coordinates, please.
Yes. So tomorrow is a big day for us. We are launching our Civic Action Toolkit, a simple citizen's guide to interface with the executive, the legislative and the judiciary. You can come to Kitab Mahal in Fort, where we are going to launch the Civic Action Toolkit. For more details online, you can reach us at info@we-the-people.in. Our website is www.we-the-people.in, and our Facebook page is facebook.com/wethepeople.
Okay, what time is it at Kitab Mahal tomorrow?
So at Kitab Mahal, please join us between 2 and 4 p.m. in the afternoon.
Okay, more conversation with Rama up ahead. Don't go anywhere.
This is Good Morning Mumbai, and you're with Rishi K.
Radio One.
It's my pre-Republic Day special. Rama Sham is my interview guest for the day. She's from We the People, a citizens initiative that helps us stay in touch with our Constitution, understand it, and use it in our day-to-day existence. Now, the usual thoughts around taking civic action are, why should I complain, Rama? In any case, usually no action is taken on a complaint. Also, a lot of people, if you actually Google it or do a wiki on it, you see the number of RTI activists who have been killed and who have been hurt. People are not taking very kindly, especially people in power, to RTIs being filed. So your thoughts on that, please.
My first thoughts on this is really that, if you do not complain, how will you ever come to know if action will be taken or not? In fact, I've heard authorities, public officials tell us that we know that no one has a problem or grievance and everything is working fine because we do not really receive complaints. So my question is everything really working fine? What do we think about that as citizens of India?
And about the targeting?
So when you're filing a complaint, please know that you can put the names of more than one person, or also add the name of the organization or group that you are affiliated with. For an RTI application, either you can file it as an individual, you can also go as a group. You can ask for a few different people from different places to file the same RTI application to really put pressure on the government department to ensure that the law is implemented. Also, share this information in the public domain. Make it media savvy. Tie up with the media to give more weightage to the complaint that you have filed or the grievance that you are trying to redress. In any case, even if filing as a single person, always copy to senior functionaries of the department, implying that it is in the public domain and it is not between two people.
Yeah, and in several cases, you don't need to really personally go and face the officials, isn't it? I mean, complaints and RTI applications can be filed through post or email or
Absolutely,
internet.
absolutely.
Okay, do the right thing. More conversation up ahead. It's We the People and Rama Sham, my guest for the day. Stay with us, some messages and back.
This is Good Morning Mumbai, and you're with Rishi K.
Radio One.
My guest of the day is Rama Sham from We the People. It's a citizens' initiative that helps us interface with our constitution. I've really found out that it's almost like the way you run a company. It's the action document, so to say. Now, lots of times what happens is laws and rules don't address our problem. You know, you can collect information on an issue and you find there's no legal provision to address your issue or the problem at hand. What does one do then, Rama?
So, there are really two levels to it. You need to figure out where the obstacle lies. If you figure out that due to a government policy, a citizen is being deprived of any right or entitlement, then this can be revoked through the government order, which is really the work of the executive. However, if you see that it is a right or entitlement that is being deprived because of a law or there being no law on that issue at all, then a new law will have to be enacted. And the enactment of a new law lies within the domain of the legislature, the state legislature or the parliament. So either the MLAs or the MPs sitting in Delhi. So to revoke a government order, put pressure on the government to revoke the order, lobby with the elected representatives so that they can pressurize the government to change it. To get a new law passed, you have to interface or lobby with the MLAs or MPs of all political parties to ensure that the law is introduced. Please remember, it is not just the ruling government that passes laws. It is the entire parliament which comprises the ruling party, the opposition et al.
Obviously, you decide on the approach, whether you want to approach an MLA or the MP, depending on the issue related to the state list or the union list. Yeah? And if there is no law, or any law that violates our fundamental rights, then what?
Then the High Court or the Supreme Court is the body where you get to. Because if you look at it, the courts, the judicial mechanism of the country is the third arm of the state, which is responsible for interpreting laws as well as working as a watchdog on whether we are getting the right laws or not.
Up ahead, we're going to talk about public action, such an important aspect of this. You want to see pictures of Rama Sham in studio from We the People? It's at the rate of HRISHIKAY or facebook.com/HRISHIKAY. Like the page and it's on the timeline.
This is Good Morning Mumbai, and you're with Rishi K.
Radio One.
On my Republic Day special leading up to the big day, it's We the People, a citizens collective that do citizens cafes absolutely free of cost in various spaces, educating us, enlightening us about the Constitution of India. And Rama Sham is from the organization. She's here with me. Public action, Rama.
Yes, Rishi.
We're seeing an increase in that to highlight issues, to pressurize stakeholders, filing complaints, lobbying. But officially speaking, or if you were to map it, what are the used methods of public action?
So, public action really comes up, Rishi, when a number of tactics of pressurizing the government to implement laws or rules have failed to work. That is when we have seen people out on the streets. However, there are certain steps, certain logical steps, which will lead to effective working of this mechanism. The first logical step is to raise awareness amongst the community members. For example, we have seen a lot of people on the streets protesting about issues, but many a times we find that there's a complete lack of perspective.
That's right.
People don't even know what they're protesting for. So that is the first thing we need to do, which can be done through pamphlets, posters, films, street plays, etc. Information gathered through the Right to Information Act can be shared at the awareness raising meetings. Holding consultations with different stakeholders is another step in this. Please use the media as far as possible in different ways to create awareness, highlight issues and create pressure. And we are actually living in good times where the media has been really cooperative in taking up citizens' issues, and we see it every day.
Now, after collecting information, creating the awareness, socially, is there any way that we can put more pressure?
Absolutely. So we have a huge number of civil society organizations working on various issues in the country. For example, in Mumbai, we have the Advanced Locality Management Group, which are really citizens collectives working to, create pressure on these departments. And apart from that, we have had episodes of Satyamev Jayate, where we have really seen civil society groups working on different issues, lobbying for it, creating awareness, building perspective.
Up ahead, we're going to talk literally about instances of public action action for implementation of laws and rules with Rama Sham from We the People. Give out your coordinates, your website, your email ID where people can reach you, Rama.
You can reach us at info@we-the-people.in. Our website is www.we-the-people.in. The Facebook page is facebook.com/wethepeople. We are launching all this information as part of our Civic Action Toolkit to be launched tomorrow at Kitab Mahal at Fort.
What time
Between
is that?
2 and 4 p.m. in the afternoon.
Okay.
This is Good Morning Mumbai, and you're with Rishi K.
Radio One.
It's my Republic Day special. Day after is the big day. But Rama Sham from We the People is in because I don't have a gig on Sunday, remember? It's a citizen action group that helps us understand our constitution better and use it. For example, in instances of public action for implementation of laws and rules. Now, what really worries a lot of us, Rama, is sexual harassment at work,
Right.
It assumes so many different monstrous proportions. In extreme cases, women are stalked. Bosses asking for sexual favors as condition for promotion. Obviously makes the work environment really, really hostile and unsafe. And a lot of women are not complaining because of fear of losing their jobs or being sidelined at work. So a lot of changes and the right changes have started happening in this particular sphere. What is really the trigger and the remedy? I want you to talk about that, please.
So, to really understand how sexual harassment at workplaces has been addressed legally, we need to go back to 1992. And interestingly, this started with Bhavri Devi, belonging to the Dalit community in Rajasthan, who was a village-level worker in the women empowerment program of the Rajasthan government. Isn't it ironical? She was gang-raped by 3 men of a so-called upper caste community for stopping a child marriage in their family. An FIR was registered, followed by the lower court really acquitting the 3 men. But this was taken up by the women's rights organization in Rajasthan called Vishakha. And there were others, of course, who felt that the issue of security of women at the workplace was a serious problem. And this was really, really common. You see, we have always had molestation or verbal sexual abuse as an offense under the Indian Penal Code. But the punishment was really lenient. People would, be punished for a few years, and most women, as you just told us, Rishi, would not even complain. What Vishakha and the other women's groups did was that they filed a public interest litigation, a PIL, to enforce the fundamental rights of working women under Articles 14, 19 and 21 of the Indian Constitution. They requested the Supreme Court to issue guidelines to ensure that women at work are safe and are not sexually harassed. This case has come to be very well known as the Vishakha judgment or the Vishakha case. In 1997, the Supreme Court of India said that a woman has a fundamental right to dignity and safety at the workplace, and any kind of sexual harassment violates this right. In April 2013, voila, we have a law. Protection of women from sexual harassment at the workplace. The law was passed by the parliament. The bill was passed by the parliament. It became an act with the president's assent, and it was notified in November 2013. Notification really means that now is the time. From now onwards is the time when the law is in force.
Full power. More conversation with Rama Sham from We the People. This is getting exciting. More instances of public action for changing laws, making new laws on our Republic Day special.
This is Good Morning Mumbai, and you're with Rishi K.
Radio One.
On my Republic Day special, instances of citizens using the Constitution, working within the Constitution of India and our fundamental rights to actually affect change. And Vinita Singh and Rama Sham from We the People have been doing a wonderful series, and this is the culmination of that, a 1-hour interview. Okay, now in Gurgaon, something very, very interesting happened as regards Malba, which is construction debris.
Right.
And that has really changed a lot of things in terms of RTI, in terms of RTR filing, and the result of that. Just run us through that, please.
Yes, so this is actually a classic case which will take us through each step in the Civic Action Tool, because this is how citizens in Gurgaon went about it. And this was a fallout of the We the People Citizenship program in May 2013. A group of 10 citizens identified the lack of any site for Malba or construction debris in Gurgaon. And Malba was all over the place. As you know, Gurgaon was coming up as a big city. What they did was, the first step that they took was to study the website of the Municipal Corporation of Gurgaon. And they found out that the MCG had actually floated a tender for processing of Malba, and a site had been identified for this way back in 2012. However, there was no written mention of whether the work on this tender had indeed started or not. So what citizens did were, they started action parallelly on 2 important aspects. And a right to information application was filed with MCG asking for information on sites selected for Malba disposal. The second thing that they did was, they lodged a complaint stating the problems related to Malba and urging for quick action. Also, a meeting with MCG officials, was arranged for. Now, the officials claimed that the site identified as part of the tender process needed environmental clearance. Citizens actually procured the minutes of the meeting of the committee for site selection. It was asked for and received without filing an application, a right to information application. Please note this. Section 4 of the right to information application says that there are information which you can ask for orally. You do not need to file a written application. Complaint was filed with the Secretary of the Department for Urban Local Bodies in Chandigarh, and from research it was found that the MCG Commissioner reports to this department. So you see, citizens were figuring out the hierarchies, the chains of command within the department, which makes the work all the more effective. And then media was brought in. All the written complaints, RTI replies, meeting minutes were shared with the local media, and the Hindustan Times and Times of India in Gurgaon came out with more than 6 stories on this subject. The work is still in progress. However, by September 13, environmental clearance papers have been filed by the MCG with the Environment Ministry for one site. And this is all because of the citizens group working on this diligently, moreover, with the conviction that this needs to be done, this can be done, and can be done by ordinary citizens.
Full power. Where can we get in touch with you and We the People to find out more?
Great. Come join us at the launch of our Civic Action Toolkit tomorrow at Kitab Mahal Fort between 2 p.m. and 4 p.m. in the afternoon. The Civic Action Toolkit actually outlines steps to interface with the executive, the legislative, and the judiciary. You can reach us at info@we-the-people.in. Our website is www.we-the-people.in. Facebook page, facebook.com/wethepeople.
This is Good Morning Mumbai, and you're with Hrishikesh.
Radio One.
Last leg of what's been a fascinating discussion with Rama Sham from We the People, a citizens collective, an initiative that is really putting us in touch with the Constitution of India and how we can use it, interfacing, interacting with the judiciary, the executive, and the state. Okay, now you just gave us a fascinating example of an instance of public action for implementation of laws and rules, etc. I want to now shift focus to the right to education, the RTE. 2009. Any instances of the public actually using that for furtherment?
Sure. So right to education has now become a fundamental right under Article 19 of the Indian Constitution.
That's right.
I'm going to give you an example of what happened. There was a guy called Feroz Ali who had 2 children aged 7 and 11, and they had recently moved to Calcutta from Cuttack.
Okay.
He wanted to secure admission for his 2 children in a local school, went to the school, where right at the first instance, the principal asked him to cough up 50,000 rupees for each child to seek admission. Feroz Ali knew a little bit about the Right to Education Act and knew that the school could not take so much money as admission fee. However, he did not know what to do about it. And for him, what is most important was the children's education. You see, under the Right to Education Act 2009, Rishi, no school can demand capitation fee, which is prohibited under the Act. The school can actually be fined 10 times the amount of the capitation fee demanded by it. So let us see what are the steps to file a complaint against the school for demanding capitation fee. Following procedure laid down in Section 32 of the Right to Education Act, a written complaint has to be made to the local authority of the area, such as the Gram Panchayat or Zilla Parishad, the district council, or the municipal corporation. All these are bodies which are responsible for enforcing the Right to Education Act, and they are notified by the government to receive complaints. The local authority must decide on the complaint within 3 months. While dealing with the complaint, the local authority must hear both sides, that is the complainant as well as the school authorities, teachers, government officials, etc. If the complainant is not satisfied with what happens at this level, the complainant can once again appeal against the decision of the local authority to the State Commission for the Protection of Child Rights of that state.
Just repeat that, the State Commission for the Protection of Child Rights. Okay.
Or to the Right to Education Protection Authority. I repeat, the Right to Education Protection Authority. Till a State Commission for the Protection of Child Rights is set up. So basically, you see, not every state might have a State Commission for the Protection of Child Rights. However, every state right now has the Right to Education Protection Authority. A complaint can also be made to the officials of Education Department at the block, district or state level, as well as to the school management committee.
And they all have the responsibility to monitor the working
to ensure that children can get admission in schools without capitation fees.
Rama, thanks so much for this session. Full power to you and We the People, and we'll see you soon. A very, very happy Republic Day to you.
Thank you. Same to you, Hrishikesh, and same to all the